Madam Chair. My questions will primarily be for Mr. Mason. Mr. Mason, Arnold Bell is the chief of your Innocent Images Unit. Can you tell me why he isn't here today to testify?
He is here. He's sitting behind me, but I was asked to do the testifying.
I believe Mr. Bell was actually invited to do the testifying. Was there a substitution made internally in the Justice Department?
Not in the Justice Department, but in the FBI. I only know I received a notification that I was going to be testifying here today.
Okay. Mr. Bell is the person with the most in-depth knowledge about the FBI Innocent Images Unit, isn't he?
That's correct.
I was personally disappointed that he was not sitting here at the table, because we would obviously want the person with the most in-depth knowledge to be the one that answers the questions. Can you get back to us as to why the switch was made? Because I know it didn't come from the Committee on the Judiciary.
I can do that.
Thank you. Who's James Finch?
He is the Assistant Director of our Cyber Division.
You're aware, aren't you, that Senator Biden, Joe Biden, wrote a letter to FBI Director Robert Mueller asking him specific and detailed questions about the FBI's Innocent Images Unit, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And Mr. Finch responded to Senator Biden. You've seen the letter?
I don't recall seeing the letter, but I know he did respond to the letter.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I prepared a copy of the... Madam Chair, I'm sorry. I've prepared a copy of the letter to submit into the record and ask unanimous consent to do that.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. You know then, Mr. Mason, that in Mr. Finch's letter, he stated that the Innocent Images Unit currently has 32 staff members, including 13 investigators. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do you know how large the unit was in 2006?
I do not.
Was it smaller, bigger, or about the same?
It was larger.
It was larger. I think the number was closer to 40. So the number of agents actually has shrunk since Congressman Barton's when he chaired the Energy and Commerce Committee. Since his hearings last year, the number of investigators was actually less this year than it was last year, correct?
In the Innocent Images Unit, yes.
The total budget for the Innocent Images program is about $30 million. Is that right?
No, ma'am.
What is the...
Are you talking annually?
I am, yes.
No, it's not $30 million. If you're talking about appropriated money, it's around... It's closer to $6 million.
Okay, but total funds is $30 million.
I'm not sure what you're making reference to in terms of total funds.
What I'm making reference to is Mr. Finch also stated in his letter to Senator Biden that approximately $3.8 million was transferred from Innocent Images to IC3, which is the Internet Crimes Complaint Center.
That's correct.
And what is IC3?
IC3 is a location we have in West Virginia where we collect Internet complaints, Internet crime complaints. It's a place to aggregate it because the average Internet fraud amounts to about $75. So we were looking for a way to aggregate all of those complaints to find out when, in fact, we had a problem.
They investigate fraud and white-collar crime, correct?
That's correct.
Why is so much of Innocent Images money being sent to an agency that has nothing to do with child protection?
Well, in fact, it does. And in fact, over 1,000 complaints last year came into IC3 through the Internet Crime Complaint Center. The average...
Child protection complaints? Child protection complaints came into IC3?
No, complaints of suspected child molestation. And so the fact of the matter is the average American doesn't understand necessarily that it's for white-collar crime only. They only know it's an Internet Crime Complaint Center, and they make calls of all natures, of all nature to the Internet, to IC3.
Okay, but the majority of the resources should be with the Innocent Images program and not diverted to an agency that is dedicated to white-collar crime and Internet fraud. Wouldn't you agree?
That money didn't go just to IC3. It went to IC3 and to our Cyber Fusion Center. It was split between the two. We see that as a force multiplier, so we do not see it as a diversion away from crimes against children, but rather as yet another type of force multiplier that helps us to identify even more perpetrators of crimes against children.
You're aware that we're investigating less than 2% of the activity?
I am.
Particularly because you compared the activity to speeders in your comments earlier.
Only as a scope issue, not relative to the consequences.
I think it was an unfortunate analogy, which you acknowledged. Has the department, your division, or any entity in the Department of Justice asked for more money in the President's budget request to combat this type of crime?
No, we have not asked for more money, but we have indicated in 2008 that none of the money for innocent images will be diverted anywhere else.
Well, that's comforting. It would be good if the Department of Justice refocused their priorities on making sure that we up the percentage of crimes that we can against children that we can investigate beyond 2%.
The time of the gentlewoman has expired.
Thank you, Madam Chair.